Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Startup Central right here on ET Now with me, Sumita Karir. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll be taking you through the top stories that we have lined up for you on the show. In fact, let's then begin the show with a special interaction that my colleague Jude had with Gopal Srinivasan. This on the back of SEBI's amendments to angel funding, including the mandate for accredited investors-only funds that perhaps could bring an end to angel investing itself, says Chairman and Managing Director of TVS Capital Funds, Gopal Srinivasan. In an exclusive chat with my colleague Jude Saneth, the TVS Capital Fund's boss has also laid out his top sectoral picks for private equity and said that he's a huge Trump fan. Here's a slice of that conversation. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll bring to you that link in just a bit from now. But in fact, I'm told that we're now joined by a very special guest at the moment. In fact, we're now joined by Flipkart's Prateek Shetty, VP Growth and Marketing. E-commerce sales on the back. Remember, they have kicked off a day after GST rate rationalization exercise that came into effect, and it seems like platforms like Flipkart are riding on the back of the increased demand push that's being given to the sector. Initial estimates by Redseer are suggesting that sale days are expected to generate around 1.15 lakh crores in the 30 to 35 day period. But are early trends reflecting that? To discuss that and more, Prateek Shetty, the VP Growth and Marketing at Flipkart, is now joining us. Thank you very much, Prateek, for taking the time out and speaking to us here on ET. Now, first things first, Redseer has projected 1.13 lakh crores that will be generated by the e-commerce sector as a whole during this 30 to 35 day festive day period. But are early trends as far as Flipkart is concerned reflecting that in terms of your sales numbers? Give us what are some of the numbers that are really looking like as far as the sale days up till now are concerned, and how much is being ordered and what is being ordered most importantly?
Thanks for having me here, Sumati. This is the first time we are giving an interview like this, so it's more like an exclusive with you. As far as early trends are going, you've seen benefits coming across the platform. So just give you a bit about GST reforms. So we expect demand to be very strong in certain categories like appliances, even in categories like beauty, personal care, and fashion, which are going to see a flip because of the GST benefits. And even early trends for us suggest that benefit rolling out. What we have also done is we have integrated GST 2.0 in most of our consumer out communication. Even on platform, what we have tried to do is we have tried to integrate GST across the platform. We've created a specific store which says these are the products which are available with GST benefit. And we've seen that play out both in terms of searches before we went live with the sales. So categories like appliances saw a big surge in searches. Of course, that didn't translate into conversions before, but as soon as we hit 22nd September and our sale went live, we've actually seen categories like appliances grow really, really fast. So yeah, so we're seeing the benefits of GST roll out there.
Right, Prateek, in fact, how much has the average order value been and how much has it changed versus last year?
More than average order value, what I can give you is that in terms of purely people coming on the platform, we've seen about 20% increase in visits to the platform, which is very, very healthy for us. This is translated into similar numbers for organic visits on the platform for us, which is also an indicator of good consumer intent, right? In terms of average order value, what I would say is that average order value is also dependent on which categories tend to sell more. We've seen our strong categories like mobile continue to be strong, which is with a great momentum that we've seen year on year on mobiles. Even categories like appliances, as I said, both in terms of the sheer demand that was there for the category as well as the GST benefits which have rolled out, appliances actually is turning out to be one of our fastest growing categories during this season. If these two categories, along with electronics, they tend to grow fast and faster than the platform, your average order value tends to go up.
Right. So definitely average order value, in fact, Prateek, that has gone up. But how much of this momentum you just mentioned about, in at least both of these categories, the shopping momentum that's being seen, that could be contributed to GST rate rationalization exercise. But in terms of, documenting a change on a year-on-year basis, what kind of a change are you seeing, not just in the electronics categories, but other categories as well? And how does that change then growth projections that Flipkart has for this fiscal?
I think our growth trajectory has been healthy for the entire year. So what we've seen is in terms of pure organic visits coming to the platform, customer growth, it has actually grown month on month. And since July, actually, there has been a step change, both in terms of customer acquisition for us, customer growth, and unit growth. It has actually seen a step change since July. This has been driven primarily by two or three factors. One is Gen Z, right? It is about an age group which is between 15 to 25 years of age, approximately. This has seen about a growth which is 2x that of the rest of the platform, both in terms of customers, organic visits, and what that has resulted in is about 40% of the people who visit on the platform right now is Gen Z customers. And probably by the end of festive season, they will be the biggest consumer cohort for us. And this consumer cohort is actually driving the next phase of growth. That's point one. We also see strong demand coming from tier two and tier three towns, where the kind of categories that are seeing momentum is beyond just what you would expect it to be. There are categories like beauty and personal care, and within them, we've seen trends emerge like Korean beauty, even in tier two and tier three towns. So we're seeing growth happening because of Gen Z customers on the platform. We've seen an increased demand in tier two and tier three towns, and that's what is giving us the growth on the platform. In terms of trends, what you've seen is unit growth is very strong, and this is led by fashion. And if I look at fashion and Gen Z, the way it plays out is they go after a lot of trendy fashion and not necessarily the big brands. So what that results in is we've seen even in terms of our selection on the platform, we've built in these trendy selection on the platform, and that has resulted in Gen Z coming to our platform more and more. We've invested in getting the selection on for even beauty and personal care, where we have onboarded a very, very wide selection of brands which are on Korean beauty. So that's broadly where we are seeing a good momentum coming as well.
Right.
The other category where we are seeing growth is largely electronics, and even within that, if you see wearables, that's where we have now seen momentum come back, and that also is led by a younger consumer cohort.
Okay, so electronics and of course fashion and beauty are some of the verticals that are driving the growth momentum for you on your platform. But since you mentioned about Gen Z, I have to talk to you about quick commerce. Prateek, tell us how much has the growth been as far as quick commerce is concerned, and how much has your quick commerce platform Flipkart Minute contributed to growth in sale days?
So minutes is something which is almost like 0 to 1 for us this year. Last year it was quite small because we just started in middle of August, and it was just 1 month into the system last year. This year we have actually expanded minutes to more than 400 stores. We cover more than 21 cities through minutes, right? And that gives us leverage to have to one, which is speed. If a consumer comes on the platform and buys a product, any product which we can deliver in minutes, we are able to do that right now, and this is across 21 cities, right? What that has resulted, I'll give you a figure.
Okay.
About two, if you look at generally what are the kind of orders that we do in a day, in the first 2 days, minutes is about 2.5x of what they do on a regular day in terms of pure orders. And this is also not just your daily essentials, right? We are delivering mobile phones, we are delivering laptops, we are delivering smartwatches. A lot of these categories which people are buying during big billion days are being delivered through minutes. An interesting anecdote there is that the fastest that we have delivered an iPhone right now is in 3 minutes in the country. So that's what minutes is able to provide for us.
Absolutely, Prateek, and it's this convenience and, of course, speed that is getting customers hooked more and more to quick commerce platforms, including yours as well. But when you say that a lot of these orders have come via your quick commerce platform, if I were to ask you to give us a sense of the kind of numbers that you're getting, what kind of numbers that you're hoping to generate from your quick commerce platform, and how much will that contribute to your overall e-commerce sales during this festive season?
Uh, See, minutes is a piece which continues to grow for us. So in terms of pure contribution, what we are seeing is every single day the kind of contribution that comes from minutes keeps growing. So it's difficult to say, "Hey, this is what the number would be for us during the season," because the estimate that we had put on minutes, to be very honest, we're exceeding that. So it will be very difficult to say, hey, this is the contribution that is coming from minutes. What we can say right now is minutes is strong. It's growing month on month for us. So the way we look at minutes growth is not to say, hey, what are we doing year on year? The way we said, what is the growth over last week? What is the growth over last month? And hence, to say that this is what the contribution should be is back to be honest, is limiting the target for us. Minutes is almost saying that, hey, next week should be better than the last week, next month should be better than last month, and as the contribution needs to keep on increasing.
So, what's been the month-on-month growth?
I'm uh, I'm not sure I can share the month-on-month growth for us because, to be very honest, it's BBD as well, so that also tends to affect the month-on-month growth. In a regular month versus a BBD month, the growth would be what 3 or 4x of what we grow on a regular month.
Oh, wonderful. That's wonderful. So, Prateek, what's the average order value that you're tracking on quick commerce during these sale days versus any regular day?
The average order value would be pretty high because on a regular day you have daily essentials, right? A daily essential versus, let's say, a mobile phone, you will suddenly see that at a store level the order gets completely skewed. So you might have some stores which are at about 14, 15x of what their average order value would be. Some stores would have 6, 8 to 8x of what their average order value would be. But that's broadly the range that you would see it operating at.
Okay. And Prateek, you're currently present in the quick commerce space where competition is heating up. How do you look at having an edge over your competitors going forward? And how will Flipkart be balancing quick commerce and e-commerce as business verticals?
See, the the basic genesis of Flipkart is to give value to the consumer, or rather to say the best value to the consumer. And for a consumer, value depends on what his shopping mission is at that particular point of time. If it's fashion, right, he might want a particular style, and he will go and say that that style, he's in Bombay, but that style is being serviced by someone who's a seller in Kolkata and is ready to wait for that delivery to happen and him to get that product, right? At that point, what I give as value to the consumer is, do I actually carry that wide range? There are certain occasions where I just need something right now. Okay, it could be because, hey, I'm cooking and the masala that I need is over. I better get the masala on time. At that point, I need something which is very urgent. At some other time, I might be buying a mobile phone. And what really I would prefer
Right.
is a very high value item. How can I get the best discount, right? So depending on what my
Okay.
shopping mission is,
Okay.
what I value the most keeps
Right.
changing. And what we are trying to do at Flipkart is to say that for every
Okay.
shopping mission, what is the one thing that the consumer is going for, and how do I ensure that I provide that? So if it's minutes, I'm trying to figure out a way that I can give the
Okay.
best value to the consumer through minutes. On Flipkart, which is a blue platform, I'm trying to see how I can get
Okay.
the best value to the consumer through that platform. So in a way, what we are trying to do is Flipkart can give you
Okay.
scale.
Okay.
Flipkart can give you a wide coverage, which is across India, and minutes can also give you speed in addition to that.
Absolutely. So quick commerce is going to be complementary to your business going forward as well. But Prateek, which are the next set of cities that you have in your mind for expansion as far as Flipkart Minutes is concerned?
I think the way we are going after expansion is we are looking at the geographies where we are already present and where we are strong. And is there a way in which we can have that minutes interface in those geographies, which gives us scale very, very quickly? And the other way to look at it also is there are certain geographies where traditionally we've not been that strong, right? And minutes actually gives us an edge in those geographies. So it's broadly a mix of both these markets, and that's where when we start expanding, it's not about going after each and every pocket. We're actually seeing how do we protect the markets where we're very strong, be present with minutes in those markets, protect your market share, and in markets where we are traditionally not that strong, we've actually gone in with minutes, which gives us competitive advantage there.
Right, Prateek, but what's your plan as far as dark store expansion is concerned? And would you be looking at pumping in more money into Flipkart Minutes, given the fact that you also have to balance cash burn as well? But what kind of investments are you essentially looking at making into Flipkart Minutes, and what's your plan on dark store expansion?
Yeah, I'm not privy to the information on dark store expansion and the commercials for minutes. I'm so sorry for that.
Okay. All right. In fact, just one final question before we let you go, Prateek. This is essentially on government's e-commerce policy. The government is looking at boosting exports via e-commerce as well, e-commerce exports as part of its de-risking strategy to boost exports from India amidst geopolitical disruptions. How are you looking at that entire story around exports?
See, the stand at Flipkart always has is that whenever the government has initiatives, we go and support those initiatives. But again, I'm not best placed to give you the specifics for that. That's broadly the way we look at it. With GST, I think what the government has done is has given a good boost to consumer demand. And what Flipkart is trying to do at this point is to ensure that if the government is giving a push to this demand, we are there to service it.
All right. So you will be looking at, a bumper festive season on the back of that GST demand bonanza that's been unleashed by the Prateek. But for the moment, thank you very much for sharing the insights and, of course, some numbers on the kind of traction that the Big Billion Day Sales 2025 is currently gathering and garnering. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, Sumit.